You want change? You have to be the change. Hello, loves. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about change. Change can be a very scary topic for a lot of people, which is very understandable because our bodies crave comfortability, and when we're not in a state of comfort, our minds doesn't know what to do. Sometimes uncomfortability can literally make our mind feel like we're dying, or the ego, should I say. So what I really want to talk about when I say change is the fact that change does not have to be scary. We oftentimes think when we change, it has to be a whole life 360. Everything is completely shifted in our lives. And while that does happen, sometimes life does happen and drop bombs on us because we needed it. I don't think life just does things just to do it. I think it's all for a reason. The change that I'm talking about is the small changes, the little steps that you can take to see your whole life improve. Now, I do want to mention that some books that helped me come to this realization, which is Atomic Habits. I feel like we all know that. As y'all can see, I'm not even finished. Atomic Habits and You Can Heal Your Life. Two really, really good books on how to change and transform your life. Again, we often think that we have to go on a diet, start heading to the gym every morning, cut out smoking, cut out friends, do a whole life 360. And while sometimes that's very beneficial and sometimes it helps people, a lot of the times it leaves people feeling very overwhelmed and not really understanding where to go from this, or not being able to adjust. And when you're not able to adjust to the life changes, you either have terrible coping mechanisms for it or completely stop what you were doing in the first place. I'm talking from experience. I've definitely had times where I've tried to implement a change, too many changes at once, and wondered why I could not keep up with them. It literally would make me sit and cry, like the fact that I could not keep these healthy and beneficial lifestyle choices in place, but it was because I was trying to do so many at a time. I feel like when we're trying to make a change, we have to understand why we are doing the things that we're doing. If we are doing something like, let's just use the example of binge eating. If we're doing something like binge eating, we need to understand why we're doing it in the first place before we try to make a change and counteract something that we're already doing, especially if it's becoming a habit. When habits form in place, they're no longer just one thing that we do once in a while. It becomes in our second nature, basically. Recently, I've been making a few changes in my life, and one thing that I really had to look into was why I'm doing it. Why do I do the things in the first place? I've been going on a tea break, and I say tea break because I'm eventually going to smoke again. Let's not get it twisted. I'm a ganja girl, like what can I say? But I want to build a different relationship around it, so I've been taking a tea break. I'm on my third day, I think. Yeah, I think I'm on my third day. But what I'm trying to say is that before I decided to take the tea break, I had to think like, well, why do I smoke every day in the first place? When I really think about it, it's not just because, oh, it's so fun, la la la. It gives me a nice high. When you think about weed, it's kind of like a psychedelic. So it's boosting your senses. You just feel more lively, and that's different for everyone. But for me personally, I just like the way I feel when I'm high. Like I feel high vibrational, you know what I'm saying? But that's not the only way I can be high vibrational. And once I resort to one thing to help me do that, it kind of limits what I can do and the way I relate to the thing that I'm using. And I also used to do when I was bored. And the thing about that is that I would smoke when I'm bored and still kind of have nothing to do. So I would do what I was going to do anyways, sober. So yeah, it seemed like I just didn't have a good, like, the most healthiest relationship with it, so I'm taking a break. Within me taking a break, I had to realize my intentions for this break. What do I want to bring in to this new change, this new lifestyle in a sense? And for me, it's like, okay, well, I want my relationship with weed to be more of a an actual psychedelic experience. You know, I don't want to just get high and then be like, I barely even got high because I smoke all the time. You know what I'm saying? Which I've had that in the past and I hated it so much. And that was when I was actually codependent on weed, like I needed it. But I'm not like that anymore. You need some type of intention. Where intention goes, energy flows. Or I think that's the saying. But if you have no intention of why you're doing the thing, and really listen to your intentions. Why are you doing this thing? Are you going to the gym because you just broke up and you want your ex to see you 2 times skinnier or with a fatter butt? Yeah. Or because you want to be strong, you want to feel healthy. We need to be sure that when we make changes in our life, it's for the right reasons. A lot of the time when we can't keep a change in our life, it's because we are trying to do it for external validation. We're trying to do it, prove something to our ego. We're trying to do it because other people told us to. That's just not enough. That's just not enough to make your change into your reality. So you really have to make sure that what you're doing is for a purpose, and a purpose that will make you feel like it's worth it. Because external validation will never feel like it's worth it. Not going to please everyone. You're going to try so hard and you'll realize that you'll never fully please them, so there's no point. But that's kind of, I could talk about that in a whole different video. But what I'm really trying to say is that you want change, you have to be the change. It's forever going to start with your mental. If you're internally and your internal and your mental is not right, what do you expect to come out externally? Seriously, if you're not secure with yourself internally, what do you expect to come out externally? You're going to show signs that you were not secure within yourself. I'm getting so off topic, but you want change in your life, you have to be the change. You have to hone down on what the real reason is, what's the purpose of this, and if it doesn't align, it's not going to stay. And you're going to try to beat yourself up about not doing something, not being a certain type of way when you didn't even really give yourself a chance to prosper. And instead of trying to jump from a big change, start small. Start with, you want to meditate, start with 5 minutes of meditation every day. And the more you do it, the more you'll realize I can go for longer. I can do this 2 times a day. That is how you start building habits. And again, all of this can be found in this book. Everyone talks about it because they know. Thinking of Atomic Habits, even just the title, atomic, like atoms. Those are so small, but they're so powerful. And that's just how all your habits are going to be. If you truly have intention towards your goals and are not so hard on yourself, not pushing you to the limit. And sometimes you need more of a push, but not exceeding your limits, not bashing yourself when you don't exactly get to the goal that you wanted to reach. It's all about the process. And if you are hard on yourself, what do you expect the world to be? Again, because if internally you're not all right, then your external is going to show you the same. I still feel like this was all over the place, but it's okay, y'all, because my point still got across. Like, just grant yourself grace. Remember, trial and error is a thing. Like, sometimes you'll try to implement something even with all the things that I told you and it still doesn't work. And it's because maybe that's just not the way that you want to do it. Maybe instead of working out late at night, you need to work out in the morning. Whatever works for you. Do what works for you. And yeah, that's it. So thank y'all for watching. I'll see y'all in the next one, and bye.